Our observers, they are going to report to us everything they see in their area of observation, which is relevant to the elections. We have analysts here in Ankara in our core team, and they have a long list of meetings with different interlocutors simply to hear different perspectives. So we gather a lot of information which will be basis for our preliminary report, which will be issued the day after the elections. We're not going to go into any details on what we are observing, because we are, of course, seeing different elements every day. So it is for us to compile all of these findings into our preliminary report. So we're not going to give you any specifics on this, and if we on a very early stage should do that, then we might interfere into a process which of course we shouldn't do. I need to analyze, we are absolutely impartial, we are not giving running advice, and we should not interfere into the process. So I think the fact that we now take our time, gather information, is the way to approach this. Yeah, that is a very interesting question, what should be done? And that is actually for our final report to say. We have very clear stages. One, we start with getting familiar with all the challenges, with your legislation, everything. And then after we have gathered all the information, then we might come up with recommendations. But we are not interfering into a process now, coming up with recommendations. These recommendations will be given just 2 to 3 months after the elections, and will be something that the authorities of the country might consider later on. But giving advice at this stage, that would be interfering into the process, and that is a no-go for us. Well, as I said, we have a core team here in Ankara. We have election analysts, political analysts, media analysts, legal analysts, and they go deeply into their areas to see where are the challenges, what are the regulations, what are the rules, what are the dynamics. And we do that by meeting with a lot of different interlocutors from political parties, from civil society, from the media, from the election authorities. So we gather a lot of information that way, which will be the basis for our recommendations. And in addition to that, we have reports coming back from our 14 teams, which are deployed throughout the country, and they will report back to us what they see in their areas of operation, all election-relevant things happening will they report back to us. So we will have a lot of information when we compile our final reports. The reason why, of course, we start so early, because we came here already 3 weeks ago, and it's still a month to go before elections, is simply that we need time to understand fully the process, and we need to see events as they develop. So I think and hope that everyone will see that when we come up with recommendations, we have a sound basis for our recommendations. Well, the standards which we are assessing against is that standards that this country has accepted as a member of or as a participating state of the OSCE. So there are international standards for what the elections what the democratic elections are about. There are international standards for human rights and things like that, and we are assessing against the national legislation. So those are the standards which we are assessing against. So we see the realities, we know the international standards, and our reports will be based on that. We have met with a PACE delegation, which is actually just a small part of the PACE delegation. They will come back before election day with a bigger delegation. And yes, we have briefed them and we have close contact with them. And we will have a press conference together with them the day after the elections. So we think that the international community will come up with a consolidated statement, which means that we will speak with one voice the day after the elections. I have some experience having participated with the PACE and also with the OC Parliamentary Assembly, which also will join us. And I can say that we have had excellent cooperation, and I'm sure that we will be able to work together in a very, very good way. Of course, there are a lot of challenges, but that's for my final report to tell you. Well, we are here to be helpful to develop the process. Observing elections is something that we do in all countries of the OC participating, among the participating states. So we have received an invitation from your authorities, and we have responded to that, like we respond to a lot of the similar requests from other countries. I think the fact that we are learning from each other is a very good way forward.